Once upon a time, in Warri, where the river bends like a listening ear, the old folks say water has a memory. It remembers names, it remembers promises, and it certainly remembers betrayals. This was the world Ejiro grew up in, beside that brown, restless river that both fed the town and swallowed its deepest secrets. Ejiro was a tailor's daughter, her hands quick and her spirit even quicker. While everyone else around her stitched just to survive, Ejiro stitched visions into fabric. Late at night, long after the town's generators had sputtered into silence, she'd sit by the river. The moon would paint silver lines on the water, and she would sketch designs unlike anything anyone had ever taught her. Her clothes were meant to flow like the river's currents, with patterns that seemed to breathe and move. And one night the river finally spoke, not with words you understand, but with a presence. The water rose gently, without any fear, and from its depths emerged a woman. She was dressed in white cloth that shimmered like the scales of a fish. On her neck, coral beads rested, glowing with a soft internal light, and her hair shone like 1,000 scattered stars. "I am a wren," the woman said, her voice like the calmest part of the current, keeper of forgotten gifts. "Why do you come here every night, child?" Ejiro, heart pounding, swallowed her fear and found her voice. "Because the world does not see me yet." Oren smiled, a slow, knowing smile that crinkled the corners of her eyes. "The river sees you." She dipped her long, elegant fingers into the water and then gently touched Ejiro's sketches, and a miracle happened. The drawings on the paper began to move, to breathe, suddenly alive. "I will bless your hands," the goddess said, her voice now carrying a note of solemn law. "But you must hear this. What you create must never forget where it came from." By morning the goddess was gone. It was as if she had melted back into the river mist, but Ejiro's hands. Her hands were different. They felt charged, alive with a new power. Whatever she designed from that day forward didn't just look beautiful. It multiplied beauty in the person who wore it. A simple dress she made would suddenly give a shy woman unshakable confidence. A traditional wrapper she stitched would bring its wearer unexpected favor and good fortune. People wearing her creations were noticed, they were promoted, they were celebrated. Her name, once whispered only in her small neighborhood, began to cross the river. Then it crossed the entire city of Warri. Soon her fame had traveled across the country. Fame, as it often does, came rushing in like a flood, and money, of course, followed closely behind. But with all this success came something else, something insidious. Forgetting, Ejiro stopped visiting the river at night. The quiet moments of sketching by the water were replaced with loud parties and business meetings in faraway cities. She stopped telling the story of the river goddess. When reporters and admirers asked her where her incredible inspiration came from, she would just smile and say, "Hard work and talent, of course." She took all the credit for herself. The river, the source of it all, was forgotten. But the river waited. It remembered. The night of her biggest fashion show arrived. It was the culmination of everything she had worked for. The venue was packed with the most influential people in the industry. But as the first models stepped onto the runway, rain began to fall, a torrential downpour that seemed to come from nowhere. The lights in the grand hall flickered violently, then died. The models froze in their tracks, their faces masks of confusion. And then the clothes Ejiro's magnificent creations began to tear at the seams, the fabric falling apart as if its very spirit had just been ripped out. Panic seized her. Ejiro ran. She ran past the shocked crowd, past the shouting and the chaos, away from the glittering ruin of her show. She didn't stop until her feet found the muddy bank of the river she had abandoned. She fell to her knees, soaked by the relentless rain, her body shaking. "I remember now," she cried out to the dark, churning water. "I remember your name, Oren." And just like that, the water stilled. The raging current calmed. Oren rose once more from the depths, her expression not of anger, but of a deep, ancient sadness. "The river does not punish, Ejiro," she said softly. "It only withdraws when it is forgotten." Ejiro bowed her head in shame, the rain mixing with her tears. "Then let me return," she pleaded. "Let my work honor you again." The goddess reached down and touched the surface of the water. With her touch, the river began to flow again, steady and strong. From that day on, Ejiro's designs changed. They became more than just beautiful clothes. Each piece carried a story of the river, of her ancestors, of her origins. She became known not just for high fashion, but for creating art with deep meaning. Her fame grew even greater than before, but this time it was built on a foundation of gratitude and remembrance. And the river? The river still flows through Warri, and it still remembers her name. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales from around the world. We'll see you next time.